The Unthinkable sees Sweden facing a mysterious act, while a young man named Alex tries to reunite with his youth love, Anna. This is directed by Victor Donnell, who also co-wrote the screenplay, along with Christopher Nordenroth, who stars as Alex, and under the collective name Crazy Pictures, which is a name they go under with a group of their friends who would write, direct, and produce their own films since childhood. And this was something of a passion project for the group, as it wasn't anything backed by any big studio, instead having to get most of its funding through a Kickstarter campaign in 2015, and it was released in Sweden back in 2018, though its international release was rolled out incredibly slow, only getting a VOD release in the US in 2021, though it came and went so quickly with little fanfare despite positive reviews, which is a shame because if nothing else, this at least showcases the passion for the filmmaking craft on display by this group of friends. It was shot using vintage lenses, it was filled with practical effects, and it contained some nice performances, as well as attention to detail for the characters that transcend its low budget. And I gotta say, despite the fact it was shot on such a low budget, for the most part, you actually don't feel it. The clear attention to detail in the visual effects, along with some of the set pieces, honestly look better than some bigger budget Hollywood spectacles. There are especially some long takes to capture some truly wild sequences of these attacks that were beyond impressive, and I would have absolutely loved to have seen it on the big screen. Though to be clear, it still looked nice when seeing it at home. It's clear that these filmmakers had a lot of fun making this, and they made sure to make extensive use of every dollar in that budget. And I'm happy to see that they got to make this completely on their own terms, without any sort of studio interference, which is something we see way too often when it comes to films that focus on big spectacles and set pieces. The film is divided up into two halves. In the first half, our leads play the teenage versions of themselves, donning wigs, giving them the appearance of 10 years younger, with the film focusing on the budding romance between Alex and Anna. While I do think Nordenroth could have been a bit better, as he doesn't exactly always have the charisma needed to lead a film, I did like Lisa Henney as Anna, and I thought the film's careful consideration of its characters and making sure their backstories and motivations were fleshed out was a nice touch, especially as it's something that can't easily get lost in these sort of films. The first part especially has a more subdued feel to it, but if you think it's about to be a methodically paced 2 hours, you'll be pleasantly surprised to see the second half turn into an action-packed thrill ride as it switches gears to focus on these attacks. It's certainly a very extreme shift in tone, but I will say this is where it's at its strongest. I do think there are some moments here and there where the character work does get a bit lost in all the spectacle, but this certainly isn't as consistent as we'd see in a mainstream sort of film. But because of all the great work done building up the characters in the first half, I was still highly invested and found myself having an absolute blast with this portion of the film. I think some sequences can go on just a tad long here and there, but for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed the mixture of spectacle and character drama, and it makes The Unthinkable a solid watch overall. While at times not the best paced film, while also containing an extreme swing in tone from the first to the second half, it's still a fun time. The passion on display from these filmmakers is abundantly clear in every frame, with its vintage feel, attention to detail, and its use of practical and special effects to make a low-budget film feel grander than some big-budget Hollywood blockbusters. If you're looking for a different sort of independent film, you should definitely give this one a watch. The Unthinkable gets a 7 out of 10. So let me know, did you see The Unthinkable, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like the story? Did you find it entertaining? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.